money, 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 money. That's the issue.
All right, thank you so much.
No, I'm not done.
Please make it brief so we can take other people's questions as well.
Listen, in India, there was a company called Tata. Tata started by copying Lada cars from Russia. The cars were crappy. The government of India made it a state policy to use only Tata cars. Now Tata owns Range Rover and Land Rover and BMW. What is wrong with Ghana? Why can't Katanka has been there all these years? The same thing is happening. And look, I started as an international journalist, writing for London and American magazines. It's a bloody shame. You talk from the 90s, 30 years now, we've been talking these same things. It's not right.
Right, we need to pay attention to, I see that is passion talking, and I can really relate. Thank you so much, sir. That's passion talking, and I can relate. Thank you. All right, thank you so much, sir. Now, madam, please.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. So I would start from the alternatives that Aram was talking about.
There is someone on the floor, please. Thank you.
As a researcher with research interest in waste management, I always say that the problem has not really been with the material, but our inability to manage the waste that comes out of the material. Because I think some time back, we're not using plastics. We felt plastics were a solution to a problem. We brought it, all of a sudden we are crying, and now we are looking for another alternative. We will bring that alternative, but we will not manage it well, and we will still cry 10 years from now and say, oh, cassava, blah, 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 is giving us problems. So I think that when you're looking for the alternatives, we should be looking at how we can properly manage the byproducts of the alternative, not necessarily looking at the component of that alternative. Also, I'm a bit skeptical, or I have a bit of issues when it comes to developing livelihoods around waste. Richmond mentioned that his NGO is working towards reduction. So I'm assuming, being a positivist, this reduction strategy we are working towards works. What happens to Nelplast? It means his raw material that he's going to use for his construction materials are not going to be there again. What happens to the chain of livelihoods we create along the value chain of plastic waste? The women we are pushing out there, go out there and pick plastic litter. You tell me to stop litter and you tell the next person to go pick litter. It's a counter effect. So I would advise that we look at the whole value chain of whatever proposal we are making to solve the plastic problem. So that whilst creating the solution, we don't 10 years, 20 years time, take people's livelihood from them and they come back complaining. So if someone says, oh, I'm not picking plastic again, so I don't have my life, do we go back littering so that the person gets job to do? These are food for thought. Thank you.
Right, food for thoughts indeed. Right, sir. Please, do you have a microphone? All right, let's hear you.
Thank you very much. My name is Augustine Yaobania from Agency for Health and Food Security. To Mr. Nelson, can you consider the regional or district compost site where you organize the plastics? You call on people, you have this thing, bring it here, and decentralize your activities. Even you can do the raw materials and transport it to Accra, where you are building or where you do your activities. Can you consider that one? And secondly, the education of this plastics. When you are walking on a roadside and you see somebody throwing something, the approach, attempting to approach the person, even scared you of you, it's very stressful. Oh, sir, why are you putting this here? Oh, Masajai, and Penoforoma Diasikas, into the education, I always hammer on the basic and the secondary cycle for them to bring it up so that the sustainable policy that we are looking at will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay, I see. I'm taking the last question, and I think we can wrap up from here. Yes, sir. Do you have a microphone, please? Right at the back.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Nana Yakwachi Bodu with the Ghana Environmental and Sanitation Awards, and want to congratulate NELPLAS for having been one of the award recipients last year. Now, moving on, I didn't get our lady's name, but I want to say I align with her thoughts as to what we can use the media to do, especially she mentioned even movies, Kumawood movies, and bloggers and what have you. I think we would all agree that the media space haven't prioritized the advocacy on things that has to do with green economy, that has to do with sanitation and what have you. I know that also having a media background, I know that most often than not, we talk about, the media space being expensive, so, airtime and the rest. But I think the time has come where every media station probably need to leverage some very good time to only do programs and advocacies that has to do with the environment and the green economy. It has to be a concerted effort. Probably the Media Commission have to look into it, that there should be some level of leverage, some airtime, whereby each channel, from the big ones, the GTVs, the TV3, and what have you, even if each week they are dedicating just 2 hours of their time to do content that goes on to add up to the advocacy and education. Because we are talking about the younger ones.
I think your point is made.
Very made.
Thank
so,
you, sir.
Yeah, it's more or less. That's what we're going. Great.
Right.
Thanks
Let's
so
wrap
much.
up.
Well, thank you so much. Jerry, can I just take the last words? For Nelson, that would also afford you the opportunity to answer, I think, the question that was posed to you. So I'll start with Selassie. Last words. Let's make it brief, please. Thank you.
I think for me, it's just really thinking about what and how we eat in Ghana. How can we make sure that what we're eating is contributing to our cultural, economic, environmental future, and making sure that every single meal we're having those conversations and making those decisions based on that.
All right, thank you so much. Nelson?
Okay, so I think we will consider what he's saying, the suggestion he's making. And also I want to make a point to my lady there. She was making a point that if you don't put like things in the right way, we might run out of business. I wanted to know that we don't only use sachet, or we use all kinds of plastic waste, and we can't ban plastic totally in this world, because our car bumpers, chairs are made up of plastics, which we can also use. So my final words is replacing plastics with paper bags or other things doesn't solve the problem alone. It's our attitude towards disposal of plastic waste after use. That is what we should be hitting on. Replace doesn't change anything. We need to change our attitude, because if we don't change it, we are going to transfer the same attitude that we use on plastic to paper or jute bags.
All right, thank you. Now, Aram.
I see a lot of anger and anguish around financing.
Right.
And so I'll be brief about that. In some ways, there are some fundings for certain things. So I would advise that SMEs who are working in the blue space connect with the other spaces. Now, if you're doing, for instance, what NELPLAS is doing, let someone help you calculate the carbon emissions. So you can sell that concept to the climate space as well and get funding to prove those things together. So sell them in the various green economy spaces, and you're likely to succeed. The lady that mentioned that people run out of jobs as a result of the thing is, we are advancing capacity so that we solve a problem. So we have to keep the goal in mind. We are trying to eradicate the menace of plastic waste. Now, if the waste speaker stops speaking waste over time, which is a very long period, we are building new skills for her to do something in that value chain. When you go to a job and you start from entry level, there's opportunity to grow. Why would you want the waste speaker to remain there?
we advance her skills to do better. And I know that collaborations are important. In other spaces as well, so do collaborate, especially this is an opportunity for a lot of us here to meet people we don't ordinarily meet in our daily lives. And so it would be a good way to collaborate with the government, the development organizations, the NGOs, and the SMEs to advance the work we do.
Thank you. Amo Boateng.
Yeah, so for me, I'll say that let's imagine if 3 years ago we had the funding and support to have completed our autonomous underwater system. By now, we would be mapping and observing what is happening within our oceans. We'll have our own data, we'll have our own security. The same too for the biodegradable plastics. This could have been a success story for which other countries could emulate. And finally, I think that it's time that we let our students know that they are not just constrained to the textbooks, but they have the freedom to imagine and bring out innovation solutions to the challenges we face as a country and a continent.
Thank you. So Ms. Salasi Atadika is the founder of Miduno. Thank you so much for coming. And we also have Mr. Nelson Boateng, CEO, Nelplast Eco Ghana Limited, and also Ms. Stephanie Ayram Akroma, Director, Center for Green Growth and Environmental Consultants. And finally, Dr. Mark Amo Boateng, Lecturer, University of Energy and Natural Resources. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Thank you so much for also listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harriet Nate, the moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause once again for them. How about a photograph together? And clearly the sticking point is that if all you have in your hand is a nail, you will see everything as a hammer. Or if you have, all that you have, is a hammer in your hands, you see every problem as a nail. Waste is wealth. Waste is great resource. It depends on our mindset and what we do with it. On this note, I believe all is set for us to go to the tables. Lunch is served in the restaurant. If you received your cheat, please step outside. The ushers will be kind to assist you to your lunch venue. We reconvene here at exactly 2:15. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to save time, so we ask that you please be hasty in your attempts to come back so that we do this in record time. Bon appetit. We'll see you shortly.